Okie dokie, so this is a little mini session on a few yoga poses or classic kind of release stretches for hips. So yoga for hips this is. I'm just going to move on back. So very straightforward. You're going to open the hip flexors. You're going to open the knees wide. You're going to be able to come in and out. I'll do it on the side. I'll do it facing, but it's our classic child's pose and into a supported cobra. So from up here, ideally I should have been on all fours. Anyway, all fours, and then I'm going to go wide, bring my big toes together, hands out in front, and just gently does it to fall back. So you can stick with child's pose. You can leave yourself here, coming in and coming out. I'm just going to come on the angle as well, come on the side. So pressing back. I'm staying up a little bit because I'm coming in to come out. By all means, actually get right down here. And I'm only coming up to kind of all fours, slightly gliding forward, and then a lovely pull back. So keep those hands grounding into the mat or into the floor, and you're pulling back. Breathe in, breathing out. So you're going to keep doing that one. Decide how many you want to do, just go with the flow. Don't worry about the actual video itself. You add your own number of repetitions. Similar idea, but now we're just going to glide and open those hip flexors. I quite like keeping a parallel option for this. It's a really good way to just look after the knees, and perhaps the hips themselves don't want to be wide whilst coming forward, just personal preference. So I'm just going to take those hands in front. I'm going to slide back, have the child's pose, walk it up through the middle and be able to come to the front. So I'm just going to walk back a little bit so you can see a little bit more of my hands in front of me here, dropping the heels and the bottom connecting there. Inhale up and glide to come forward. I'm going to come and do it on the side, but just know I've got parallel legs now from the box position. You're going to ease to sit back onto those heels. When you come up, you can just be coming a little further forward, or you can glide and continue to stretch your way forward. So here, I've got straight arms. I've got lots of space between my head and my neck, and I'm just making sure that I'm using the exhale breath to glide forward. It's never going to be a drop or a push or a press. Just in your mind's eye, think about gliding forward. Push back, sit back, heels and bottom, lift up, glide forward. So again, do as many or as few as you like for these. If you want to open the knees wide and do this as you're coming forward with a slightly wider knee, as I said, personal preference is not quite for me and my hips. But this is the idea. We're opening these hips so you can just play around with the angles as you see fit. And then I'm just going to pause for a moment just to change my direction. But you're in the classic box position, the all fours position, to do a figure of 8. So exactly the same idea you were just doing. From that all fours, just sweep to the front, come through the middle, sweep on round. So always think about where you'd like to begin. Perhaps with this, you'd like to begin with the knees together and further apart. Whether you'd like those knees in the classic box position and keep it quite tight, entirely up to you. I know this one for my own body. I'm going to bring my hands out a little further, and I'm just going to go ahead and glide to the front and glide for the back. So I'll say glide just so that you can feel it's more so of a sweeping movement than it is a push and a press, but it might well feel like that for you, and that's okay. But you're going to go in both directions for as many reps as you like. But in your mind's eye, you are creating this figure of 8. So if you're on a hard surface, maybe you just want to roll something up for your wrists and the hands, and the same is true of the knees. And you're just gliding and pressing. I'm just going to come right to the side to show you that my hands are in front. I'm going to go over the front, through the middle, and I could just start pushing and pressing and dropping and leaning. Every which way makes sense for me. Again, as I said, what you do on one side, you've got to repeat on the other and just make things all feel nicely proportioned and nicely equal in push, press, and glide here. I'm just going to pause again in the middle, just to chat you through the next one. You can always lift up like me, sit on the heels, roll out or shake out wrists and shoulders. Another one that we're moving on to again to open the hips, hence the name of our little session together. This is an all fours, and we've got two options for them. So all fours to begin with. We're going to stay down here. We're just going to move hands to the left. So that's both hands to the left. Right foot forward, plant it. Plant these hands back again. And then here, again, it's glide and slide forward. Just try not to tip and open the arch of the foot. Keep the toes grounded. Keep the heels down. And just breathe in to breathe out. Nice, big, deep breaths. Inhale front. Could be exhale back. It could be inhale to the midpoint. Exhale to go forward. Inhale midpoint. Exhale back. But here you're stretching calves and hamstrings and hip flexors and probably your back as well. I'm going to do one more to the back, then come to my neutral, maybe even walk a little further out to lean, walk it through and step here. So plant that foot, plant those hands and go right ahead and glide and slide again. Just gliding forward, reaching your body to come on back. So breathing in again is through the midpoint, if that makes sense for you to add extra layer of hold. Holding the stretch, holding that intensity, easing through the depth of the stretch and just going with the flow. I'm going to do a couple more front and back. Same cues for that foot at the front. Try not to let it turn out. I'm going to pause it there. Lovely. So I'm just going to turn around. Again, I'm going to swap to the other leg, to my right leg. This time, we're going to actually come up. So just bring the whole posture with you. If anything, think that you're just pulling out through the crown of the head from the very base of your pelvis. Just open chest, relaxed shoulders, hand on thigh if it's good. Try not to do the knee. And then very gradual sweep and reach. So inhale here. Exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. So this is a classic hip opener because, and a hip flexor stretch because you're into the side of the waist. Equally, you can just nudge forward a little bit and have a sweep, and that's going to bring you upper back and maybe even deeper hip flexors. So again, as with everything that's come before, as many or as few repetitions that really make sense and speak to your body, because you can just repeat the whole lot or you can repeat the ones that make sense for you. Pop hands down though, just to ease yourself through to the other side. Step that foot up, have more of the classic right angle than the box position. You might even be tight enough that you feel just by lifting up, you get that hip flexor stretch. And then when we're ready, hand on thigh, avoid the knee, and off you go with a sweep. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So a couple more. Last one. Lovely. And again, you might need to put the hand down to nudge that foot. You might need something under that knee. And then once again, relax posture. Just gently driving yourself forward. You could drop and take the gaze with you. You could keep the gaze to the front, but it's just a nice scoop and a sweep. On the exhale, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. So last couple of these, and pause it there. Lovely. So just to recap, we're coming through some cobra, some child's pose, either on their own or sweeping together. We've got all fours for hip openers. We've got all fours for figure of eights. We have the forward lunge, that lunge position where you're on the all fours and opening, gliding forward, gliding back. All fours side bends and sweeping and doubling up. Whatever you do on one side, make sure you do in the other. If you want to know any more about any of the programs or any of my videos, please do get in touch. You'll find me on Instagram at Simone Perrin PT. You'll find me on Facebook, Simone Perrin Personal Trainer. So those are 2 points of connection. I look forward to working with you again soon, and thank you so much for watching.